So after doing my top 12 2D Disney animated films, I was thinking about why did Disney stop making 2D animated films? And it's really not just one reason why 2D animation seemed to die out for film. There are still great 2D animated films produced, but they're not wide releases. And anytime it is a wide release, it's usually anime. Not saying that I don't like anime, because I do like anime and I really want to see Your Name since I've heard it was amazing. But traditional Western 2D animation has all but died out in wide releases. And it's probably because Disney stopped doing it because they're the biggest studio there is for 2D animation and they just quit altogether. They still do sketch tests for films like Frozen and Moana, but they don't end up being completely 2D films. Moana did have a bit of 2D with the tattoos on Maui, and that was a nice treat, but still it's not a 2D film. So why did 2D films seem to die out? The last one that people seem to remember is Princess and the Frog. And that was in 2009, 5 years after Disney's last 2D film, Home on the Range. So Princess and the Frog was a significant bump in quality. But the next year, in 2010, Tangled came out. And that ended up wowing audiences a lot more than Princess and the Frog. Mainly because it was Disney's first 3D princess film, and it looked incredible. They had to create an entirely new 3D engine just for Rapunzel's hair, which made Tangled the most expensive animated film to date. And while Princess and the Frog's visuals certainly are a treat to look at since it's 2D animation and it's very, very colorful, it didn't seem to connect with audiences as much as Tangled did. A lot of people say it's because people are racist and they don't like black princesses, but I don't think that's the case. I'm probably going to repeat something that Doug Walker said, because there does seem to be a discrimination against 2D animation. The general public, and especially adults, seem to see 2D animation as a kiddie thing. And 3D animation seems to be more adult. When Shrek came out, that sort of cemented that mentality that 3D animation is more adult. And people seem to be more impressed the more realistic something looks. And while you can tell the characters in Tangled and Frozen and Moana definitely look like cartoons, the textures and elements of the world look more real. But I don't think that's the only reason Disney stopped making 2D animated films. Because people forget that Princess and the Frog was not Disney's last 2D animated film. It was actually the 2011 Winnie the Pooh. And that came out the same weekend as the last Harry Potter. Which is very unfortunate, because the 2011 Winnie the Pooh is actually pretty good and looks amazing. But I don't think it was the right film for them to do after Princess and the Frog. Mainly because, for Winnie the Pooh, people already see it as something that's kiddie. And plus, we already had some theatrical releases beforehand with Piglet's Big Movie and the Tigger Movie. And people saw those movies as for preschoolers. So when you make one of your major animation studios work on a Winnie the Pooh movie, people probably aren't gonna see it. I mean, I love Winnie the Pooh, but not everybody does, and especially not adults. So I think that's probably their biggest mistake, which led to the demise of 2D animation in film. So those are my thoughts on why Disney doesn't make 2D animated films anymore. If you have any thoughts on the subject, tell me down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, by now we're getting a bit used to winter. We're like soldiers in the middle of a campaign, growing hardened to discomfort and better able to take